The next level has been activated today, Inauguration Day, May 29. You're watching Rootstv Nigeria. Expectations of Nigerians are quite high as President Muhammadu Buhari has been sworn in for another term of 4 years. What is he going to do this time around? That will be different from what he did in the past 4 years. My guest today, Mr. Jide Ojo, will be telling us, possibly breaking down the next level agenda for us. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, next level has been activated. What should we be expecting? Well,
not being among the elected political office holders, I think if we take the words of their campaigns to heart, I think we should get improved governance. That's what, in summary, I am looking forward to. Incidentally, today I write in my column in the Punch. I said to them, the time for redemption of campaign promises is now.
But what happened to the first tenure? I mean, we had campaign promises in the first tenure.
Well, that's why they are saying next level now. In 2015, they were talking about change. So now they are talking about next level, at least at the level of the federal government. It shows that it's unfinished business. And if you go by what the president himself has said, he's promised a number of changes. First, immediately after he was declared the winner of February 23rd, 2019 presidential election, he talked about inclusive governance. That is the second time we will see improved governance. And then 2-3 days ago, when he was speaking on NTA, he talked about police and judicial reforms. He talked about fighting corruption, talked about several other things, which actually are encapsulated in the next level agenda.
But should we also be worried about the kind of members, people that will make up members of his cabinet? Should we be worried about that?
Well, I don't think we should be worried. I think we should be concerned. Well, not really worried or concerned. I think we should be vigilant to put him to task about digging into the background of some of those people that he may want to either reappoint or bring on board. I think due diligence we need to do. We can't leave it to security agencies. We have seen what happened with the last security screening and Senate and National Assembly formality, all ritual of just because some of the scandals that broke out shouldn't have broken out if the security agencies and indeed Nigerian Senate had done their due diligence. How will you confirm somebody who did not do you service? How will you confirm somebody whom information as was known to possess forged exemption, NYC exemption certificate? And here they condoned it. The security agencies did it. What did they screen? So I'm expecting that Nigerians, immediately he released the list of his cabinet members. Media, civil society needs to dig into the background of these people. For those who will be reappointed, we need to extray what did they do in their first tenure. Will you advise a change of portfolio, or even if you are going to retain them? There have been accusations and that members of his economic team does not have economists or financial experts amongst them. They are predominantly lawyers and all of that.
Well, let me just bring you back. You mentioned about his interview in the state broadcast firm. He talked about the police and the judiciary and the fact that people have termed him Baba Go-Slow in the first tenure. Are we going to see some surprise from him this time around?
He has promised that. He said they should wait for him, that they will be shocked in the second time. But, you know, primarily, I'm just, sometimes you need to hurry slowly. It's not about doing 100-meter dash at all the time. Sometimes you need to take things as a marathon. So what I've advised, like in the article I referred you to, which was published on today, May 29th, was for the president to be prompt in the appointment of headship of all the MDAs, be it ministers, department agencies, heads. An online newspaper published today that there are 10 boards that were not constituted in the 4 years of Buhari. 10 boards. How do you excuse that? There are over 600 NDAs in Nigeria.
Was it that wasn't brought to his notice?
I really don't know. That's what we are saying. And as if I knew that the cable was going to publish that. I said, given my own experience and study of this administration, the man seems to take too much time studying situations before acting. And when he acts, it don't change. It doesn't change his mind so easily.
But in the past 4 years, was there any surprise? I mean, knowing him by this time, which he has promised to spring up surprises, how are we sure these surprises will eventually come? Well,
the surprise may come, but it may be a deja vu. When he said in 2015 that he needs to take his time to form his cabinet, but after 6 months and he presented, people were like, oh, is this what has taken you 6 months to present? And then you kept everybody at their desk for 4 years, no change, no swap. You know, as you will see with previous administration, sometimes you don't even drop, you just swap. You say, oh, I think you are best suited for this other ministry or that. But we didn't see that. We didn't see dropping of people who didn't perform. And yet I knew that there was a retreat and there was a charter of demand or the scope of work handed over to each of the ministers. So what did we see? We saw situations where even him as the substantive minister of petroleum resources, we had to endure 2 long protracted fuel queues in the 4 years he was there.
But
we have to endure.
The president right now is pushing the blame to the Senate.
Well, he may say that for all he cares. I don't buy that argument. I think he was demonizing the institution of National Assembly. I mean, more or less saying, I'm the only one that is good. Every other person or every other institution, you know, you see him blaming the judiciary for slow performance in anti-corruption drive. He's blaming the National Assembly over budget, blaming them over lack of cooperation and all of that. I don't think that is where the blame lies. Okay. The blame lies with him. He's the chief executive. He's the commander-in-chief. The bottom line for me, Imoede, if we don't solve our energy problem, we are going nowhere. If we don't solve the energy problem, electricity and petrol, and petroleum resources. Let me put it that succinctly. Now, why did I say so? These are the way to unlock the economy. You cannot provide just for everybody. Micro, small, and medium enterprises there is high level of mortality of this sector of the economy.
Let me just hold you up there. In the next 6 months, what should we be expecting? What you should be expecting from the president?
I think there are some quick wins that he needs to do. There are a number of infrastructural projects that are ongoing that I think work should be expedited on them. At least let's fix the infrastructure. Basically, if we are able to have an improved infrastructure, railroad, electricity, improve security. I mean, that's number one, really number one. Because look at it this way. You are doing Anchor Borrowers program. You are giving loans to farmers and whatever, fishermen and the rest of them. Many of them cannot access their farmlands because of the elders-farmers clashes that we have seen. Recall that even when Audu, the outgoing minister of agriculture, went to Daura, is the home state and hometown of the president. The emir of Daura was sending him to the president to say, look, we appreciate the agricultural incentives and all of this that you are giving to our farmers. But many of these farmers cannot access their farmlands because of the bandits. So the loans you have taken, you cannot repay because you don't have access to your land. You had the vice chairman of Izichinkafi local government that says they are paying ransom to bandits every day. Every day. They are paying, and how can you sustain that kind of? So when you are paying, who bears the services? If I have to pay bandits to access my farmland, to protect my farmland, at the end of the day, I will push the cost to the final consumer. Indeed. And if the final consumer cannot afford it, the thing goes wrong. We still have huge post-harvest losses in our agriculture. We still haven't been able to fix even the fertilizer issue and all of that. Then the subsidy is very key. I cannot overemphasize the fact that we need to remove the subsidy. Trillions of naira that are spent on subsidy is just it's just making some people,
all right, Mr. Jide,
you know,
we have to
billionaires in dollars without anything to show for it. So let's fix our our refineries. Let's be self-sufficient in domestic refined products, so that we can save this foreign exchange that we are using to import fuel, refined fuel.
Well, the time has started counting now for the president. In the next 6 months, Nigerians will really want to see how much impact he can make in their lives and redeem some of the things that he failed to provide or do in the first tenure of his administration. Thank you so much, Mr. Jide Ojo, for always coming on
it's a pleasure.
our show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. See you next time.